Mr. Chairman, I'd like to remind them of the time limit as well as waiting until the end of the meeting to answer questions from staff.
Yes.
We'd be glad to do that.
Under public comment, you will have 3 minutes to talk. You will have 3 minutes. When you're 3 minutes up, Mr. Kessler, our lawyer, will stand up and your time be up. That way we keep everything going pretty good. Okay, the first one is Robert Hayes. Well, now, Mr. Hayes.
Good evening to y'all.
Good evening, sir.
Robert Hayes, resident, Series community, Marine Corps veteran. I came up last month. I spoke about the 2A, and the sheriff announced that he was going to take his stand. Board of Supervisors, they voted on it, said they approved being a 2A sanctuary. Appreciate that. Again, I stated that's only a fraction of it. Last month I mentioned the Commonwealth Attorney, courts. They need to stand up and make a statement. Have we heard anything? No, we haven't. Those are elected officials that we put in those seats. How many elected officials in the position in this county, only half of them are here in this courtroom to hear what we got to say?
Right.
I went down to see the Commonwealth Attorney. He wasn't in his office. People have lives. They have things they got to go take care of. Did not make it this morning. I'm sure my message will get to the Commonwealth Attorney. The Commonwealth Attorney has a big decision. July 1st, those laws go into effect. He needs to take a stand on it. He's up in the air on it. He's undecided. The way I see it, he has a week to decide. If he doesn't decide, I say the people make their voices heard. You call, you let him know, you ask for his decision within a week. If you don't have it, we organize papers, put our signature on it, and ask for him to be removed from office, so we put somebody in there that will stand up for it. Same thing goes for any elected position. I don't see how it needs to be a requirement, elected position, to be here, whether they have anything to say or not, to hear public comments. Because something might be brought up that requires their input or their knowledge to hear rather than hearsay. Also want to go with the tax levy. It went from 0.32 to what is it now, 0.42? Correct. Then 0.42 would have been the max that's legally allowed. Or what was the legal amount?
We just said what we think is fair.
Okay, well, I have a fair offer for y'all to help out the people that want their voices heard. And this was voted on. People are having their voices heard. When it came out, they came up and had their voices heard. Now, the county can't pay itself taxes because it goes from one account back into the same. Well, we can say county-owned property, they can pay taxes on their property. That can go into a fund. That fund, from what would be a normal person's amount that they owe for their property tax, the county puts that into a fund and divides it out between everybody and all the residents that pay county taxes. I have a set income. Everybody here has a set income. What is...
Thank you, sir.
All right, well, they pay their 2% of
Thank you, sir.
their
Next will
total.
be Mr. Carl Williams.
Thank y'all for allowing me to speak. I'll be brief. And I too am going to address the tax situation. I was born here in this county, lifelong resident, raising a family here. And ain't got no plans to go nowhere. I guess I'll die here. But growing up here, I always thought Lane County made good decisions for the most part. And, you know, common sense being a big part in the decision-making process. But raising taxes without showing any improvement in the county to show for it is not one of them, in my opinion. I'll give you a couple examples, in my opinion, of our school and school system is a joke. The structures are in shambles, they're falling down, and from what I've heard, really no means or ideas of addressing it to fix it. And two, all the county-owned property, land that's just sitting there idle is a waste of money. And you gotta let businesses come in to get the revenue. And another thing is all these ridiculous salaries that's going on around here. I think it needs to be accounted for.
Amen.
Or cut them. Again, no signs of improvement, why not have it? What's the use in having them? And final thing is we have a lot of great small businesses, you know, here in the county. And, you know, it's your all's job, gotta help them. You know, not only encourage them, but, you know, be an ear for them. You know, we're all struggling, not only us, but the businesses too. And, you know, taxing them more ain't gonna help things. And then just closing, you know, I just say, run the county like a small business. Let's take care of our own and be smart about it and let's use common sense. Raising taxes is not common sense, or is it going to be an answer to the problem? And I'll finish with this quote. We, the taxpayers, will remember this come election time. And I almost bet if this passes, there'll be new people filling the seat. And that's all I got to say. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Carl. Next, Mr. John Owens. Mr. John Owens, please.
I agree with Carl. Doing anything with our tax money, you ain't done crap with it yet. I haven't seen anything done. I don't have no benefits. I don't get anything done for my tax dollars. I own lots of property in this county. I ain't seen nothing you do with it. You waste money. Waste it. You know, it's ridiculous. If it was your money, I guarantee you wouldn't be doing it because you'd be filing bankruptcy. If you go more than 32 cents, then you're robbing the people of this county. As Carl said, election time comes. And maybe even before that, call it impeachment. We can do that. And I think it's about time that we all start thinking about it. Because it's starting to get ridiculous that we ask for something and y'all don't do it. The county, you talk about the federal government owning all the property they have. How much property does the county own? I've asked that question. Got no answer. You know, you talk about you want to put delinquent taxes. Why don't we put what the salaries of the people in the county makes? And those that get double salaries. You know, as I mentioned last time. Still ain't heard nothing on that. You know, $100,000 is missing. But that's enough about the taxes because you're going to do what you want to do. Like I said, if you do more than 32 cents, you don't need more than that. You've got more than you need right now. You know, nothing against you guys from VDOT, but it's awful funny, you know, I'm going to help somebody else out here. Talk about roads. You went over and paid Hicksville Road. It's only 14 foot wide. Not even state regulation. And in some places, it's only 12 foot. But if I want to put a road in and make it a state road, all here is got to be 16 minimum, 18 was supposed to be. So how's that fair to me as a citizen who wants to upbring my road so that I can turn it over to the state or the county or whoever for them to do what they want to? But y'all don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about what you can do, what you can pocket for yourself, buy another restaurant or buy property, put housing in. And that's the other issue we're going to get on is that housing project and putting in a mall, a shopping mall. The one over in Bastion don't even stay full. So why are you wanting to put more money into it? There's plenty of people in the community, if they want to build housing, I tried it, and I got shot down and told, can't do this, can't do that. Rules are made to be broken, and you can overlook them. You know, that's the thing about it. You do it for yourself. You did it over, you know, whenever you wasted our money on this industrial park that you had. How much money did we waste there? There was grant money that you wasted, we had to pay out of pocket.
Right.
Yeah, that was my tax dollars. So why did you waste it?
They waste it.
You know, and then they do it. You do it all the time. People are upset about it. And like I said, if you can't get your stuff together, we'll just wipe you all out and we'll just get rid of the whole bunch. And we'll start over. We'll get rid of all of these grant stuff. Because there's your $7 million for your school you want. I can show you how to do it. But they want to get $8 million in grants to spend 15. So it ain't free money. Outdoor heating. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Owens.
Any questions?
You're good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Nobody gonna answer them. Mr. Barry Tinkle.
Well, I know I'm kind of a day late, a day short, or a day late, a dollar short, that's what I say. I'm going to talk about the reassessment, which, you know, I didn't have an opportunity to talk to anyone about the reassessment and everything. And I own a piece of property out the road there, and it actually went up 123.04%. The assessment on it was like $9,000 or something like that. I forget what it was. The year 2024. It's an old house. It's a half-acre of land. No water on it. No septic system on it. The roof's falling in on it. The house. It's not livable. There's no electricity in the house. There's but one electric socket in the whole dang house. And they assessed my property at $42,000. Now, where they could come up with $42,000 worth for that piece of property, I don't know. They sure as heck didn't look at it or didn't think about what it was worth. And but that's all I got to say.
Thanks, sir. Next will be Mr. Phil Butler.
Sorry to make y'all move. Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. You guys want to sit here a little bit more than I need you. Glad to stand in front of you and give you some good news and this great crowd here that sometimes don't get to hear all the good news that the school system's doing. So Ms. Radford couldn't be with you tonight, so I thought I'd stand here and just give you some good things to hear. Of course, this past weekend, you know, we had 58 seniors that graduated from Blaine County High School, and we celebrate them. Out of those 58, 15 of those students received an associate's degree from Whitfield Community College, which I think we should celebrate. That's a wonderful thing. I know we talk about, and I know Mr. Owens talks about wanting a new school and so forth, but I think we have to do really well with the money that we have. And at the moment, it would be nice to have a new school. It really would be, and I think it's going to be necessary in the future. And that's another discussion I want to have with you here in my allotted time. But our school system is really doing great things through the STEM program, our athletic program. Our students are achieving academically with the SciTech Academy as well, our virtual academy, virtual students. People don't know, and I want to encourage these folks that are here tonight. I know that these times stir up emotion within us, but this is something for us to do all the time, is to be a part of our local government and to come in here and speak and let our voices be heard. And also at the school board as well, we want to see you, not just whenever you're mad. But with that, I was wanting to come before the board tonight. And we've got a couple pressing matters and some dialogue that I think needs to happen. And I know we typically had some meetings 2-on-2 to discuss facility needs, but I was wondering if you all would possibly look at having a full board work session so that we could discuss a few things in an open environment and discuss pathways, things that you see as roadblocks, things that we're seeing that come down the line going forward. I know that we work through our wonderful administrators, Ms. Burton and Ms. Radford, but I think sometimes things get lost in communication, and we need to break down the walls of communication to understand one another and work closer. Many counties have, the school board and the Board of Supervisors have joint meetings regularly to discuss budget topics, discuss facility needs, discuss academics, and how can we be better partners together. So tonight, I just want to put that forward to you, and let's get our calendars in line so that, if we can meet together, we'd love just to talk, and let's talk about the future of our students. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew. we have Ms. Dreamer Hackett.
Good evening, Lord, and thank you. The camera doesn't show, we have over 40 people here, which is great. And I just want to thank you, whether you're upset about something or something positive, thank you for showing up, because this is how things need to work. We're a community, we're one big county, and whether you like your neighbor or not, sorry, we're all family. So, I just wanted to say something, and I've been very quiet. I am not what people may look at as a perfect person. Nobody was perfect except for Jesus. I'm not mad as I look. I am very well educated. I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of digging. And something has really stood out. I have my MBA in economic development and marketing. I have studied this county through all 3 of my degrees to get there. I have looked at numbers. I have looked at statistics. I have looked at the history. What's happening is really unnecessary. I just want to give you 2 locations that stand out as an increase when we're looking at the desired increase from 0.32 cents on 100, increasing to 0.42 cents on 100. The library, and Ms. Burton used to be the director of the library, who's now assumed as county administrator. Since 2021 to 2026 in the FYI budgets, and this comes from the county's website itself, has increased $79,481. Whereas approximately, I believe it was 3 years ago, Mrs. Burton took over as county administrator, and I don't know where the extra funds went that was pertaining to her salary to where it is now, okay? Looking at the Indian Village, and we've all known that it's been in the red for years. You know, I don't know how many of you have been to the Indian Village. Now, just out of curiosity, how many of y'all have actually been to the Indian Village? That's less than half. You can't see this from the camera, it's less than half of the people here. I have been there. I've been with my children there. On a personal level, I've never been there on myself. The Indian Village in 2023 had an FYI budget of $149,334. To date, for calendar year 25-26, it has increased to $296,688. That is an increase of $147,354. I think the county owes us an explanation. How is that increase on something that remains in the red, how is it conducive to the residents of the county? And that's just 2 of the things that I have looked up and I brought forth. There's a bunch of stuff.
I'm sure there is.
I don't mind digging. And it does make, my time is just about up. I just want to say, is my husband does work for the county. It should not, and it better not have anything dealing with him working here. I'm here for the county. Thank you.
Ms. Burton, that's all.
Before we move into public hearing regarding the tax levy, is there anybody else that wishes to sign up to speak regarding the tax levy? We want to make sure that we get everybody. Sir, I'm going to add Mr. Haynes to the end of the tax levy. We'll let our guests exit. If anybody wants to spread out, we've got a now fully open seat back there. Before we get started, just so everybody's got the same information, your current 2026 tax rate is 60 cents on the dollar. That's currently what you've been paying. You've been paying that tax rate since 2013, 60 cents on the dollar. It is being proposed that the tax rate drop to 0.42 cents. That is a 30-cent decrease in your tax rate. Now, does that mean some of your taxes are going to go up? Yes, because the assessments were high. So let's talk about, for a minute, what happened since our last real estate assessment. Your last real estate assessment was in 2019. So from 2019 until 2026, a lot has happened. COVID happened, material shortage happened, housing prices spiked and went up. So when the assessments came this time, they were high, but mine was high too. So what the board has done, yes, the break even, for us not to have any additional funding coming in, would be 0.32 cents. Take into account the cost of inflation over the last 10 years has been, and Mr. Shepherd's correct me if I'm wrong, about 35%. 35% is the cost of inflation over 10 years, which Blaine County residents haven't paid in the form of taxes. We have assumed those increases that have come. We're at a place now where we are facing some revenue that may or may not happen in the future. We are seeing marked changes in the cost of health insurance, the cost of building supplies, the cost of running and operating a county. We think about fire departments, and you think about rescue squads, and you think about sheriff's offices. Those things cost money to run. So yes, your current tax rate is 60 cents on the dollar. The proposed tax rate is a drop of about 30% to 42 cents on the dollar. I just want to make sure everybody's got the same information as we're going forward. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but the assessments are way high.
Yes, sir, they are.
So it's my understanding.
We're ready to turn to speaking in a minute.
Yeah,
Let her talk.
I'm just making sure everybody's got the same,
Well,
I'm making
I
sure
don't
everybody's
think
got the
you're
same
correct.
information. So, yes, the tax assessments were high. They were high because a lot happened between 2019 and 2026. The trend is that moving forward, you're not going to see that kind of a jump that you have seen in the future. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what the current tax rate was. Your current tax rate is 60 cents. The proposed tax rate is 42 cents. That is a 30% decrease.
That's not what you published.
Okay, let's open up the public hearing on the tax levy now. Misty Barnett, Melissa Barnett. I'm sorry. Come on up to the camera.
It would be easier.
No, we have recorded you up here. I'm sorry.
Big as I am.
We'll make it for you.
My name is Melissa Burnett. I have property here in Blaine County. I pay the taxes on 2 different pieces of property. Now, I understand the increase in taxes. That's not the problem, but it's the amount that is bothering me. I have 3.5 acres. They want it to increase to 25%. My brother's 17 acres, they want it to increase to 44.5%. That's going to bring my taxes up to $2,000. I'm a disabled veteran. I don't have that kind of money to pay you. I need to know exactly why these numbers are so high. I know we need taxes. I don't have a problem with taxes. I have a problem with astronomical amounts of taxes.
You said your taxes went up 25%?
Yep, I pay all the tax, every bill that you send me.
If your taxes went up 25 cents and we dropped the levy 30%, your taxes will decrease.
Well, on the paperwork that you sent me, it says my value percent change from 2024 is 25%. On the 17 acres, it tells me that my tax increase is 44.8%. And I am on a limited income and I have to pay these taxes. And it's hard when you're disabled vet to pay this kind of money.
Thank you. Okay, next will be Ron Stefanoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I got some information that conflicts with our county administrator here. It's my understanding that the 60 cents per hundred is now equal to the 32 cents per hundred because you had an increased valuation on everyone's land. So you had to reduce the tax rate in order to to come into the same as we were before. So the 32 cents a hundred is now the same as it used to be on the 60 cents. So I read on the county's Facebook site that you all had a 6%, that all your costs were going up about 6%. Well, if you do that times the 32, that adds about 2 cents to the tax rate. So that would make it 34 cents on that. So to give a little bit of an illustration on it, if you had a $500 tax bill at 32 cents, at 34 cents, it'd add $31. And if you had that 42 cents, it'd be $656. Okay, if you had a $1,000 tax bill at the 32 cents, it'd be $1,062 at the 34, and it'd be $1,312 at the 42 cents. Okay? So, with that said, what you all would think would be the effect on the delinquent tax rate? Okay? In the last 10 tax cycles, the largest budget increase was $430,000. The average budget increase over the last 10 years has been $117,000. Based on the 42 cents tax rate, that would be an increase of $1,887,000. So I just don't understand. How did you all arrive at the 42 cents? And you have, the other thing you have is you have an outstanding delinquent taxes of 2425 of $754,000, which is 12.5% of the ratio of delinquent taxes to the tax levy. My gosh, what are we going to think that is if you raise it to 42? The delinquent tax rate thus far for 2425 is $305,000. And I know Mr. Kidd's been working on it to reduce that. And over the past couple of years has collected actually greater than 100% of the tax levy due to that. So he's been doing a good job. However, I think the board should consult with their attorney, Mr. Castle, on what options are available to be more assertive and to collect more of this money. I mean, that's a lot of money. So,
Thank you, Ron.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Thank you. Next we have Ms. Carol Hall.
Thank you. I am so short breath because like I told Steve, I'm just getting over COVID, but if I'm not talking loud enough, let me know because I can get loud. Even if it's not short breath, okay? The current, I have several concerns. I don't know if I'll give you the answers, but I have several concerns. Number one, the fiscal year budget that we're in right now, which is going to end June 30th. Do you anticipate a surplus at the end of this fiscal year budget, or do you think you're going to be operating in the red? Second of all, I used to work for the county many years, okay? The surplus left over from each fiscal year budget went into a fund. You didn't spend it. There's many years of surplus money sitting there. Does anybody know how much that is? What's your plan for that amount of money? Okay? Going from the current 32 cents on the levy to 42, I understand was going to bring in about $1 million. Within the current budget and the one, compare this one versus the one July 1 that you're looking to adopt, is about $1 million some difference. If you can operate one budget on this amount of money, why do you need almost $1 million more? Is there a big project or several big projects in this new year budget that you're asking taxpayers to fund this project, and we don't even know what it is. I can't even find the budget online. So, there's questions that never gets answered. I've been to several meetings lately. It's my fault. Questions haven't been answered. But when I worked for the county, you know how they got answers? FOIA request. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. I will tell you on the reserve money, sometimes we have left over. We do try to pay on the backside of debt we have. The county has debt for sewers, waters, and different things, courthouses. And we do try to pay on the backside of the debt. So that's what we do sometimes with reserve. We always try to every year. Okay, next, Cherry Shepherd.
I know you all want to do what's best for the citizens of Bland County, and I know you have tough decisions to make. My goal is try and provide some input, maybe clarify some things, and so you can make the best possible decisions. Bland County has a lot to be proud of. The last 3 years, the county has operated with a surplus. Debt is down, reserves are up, funding has grown. Contributions from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Bristol has been bringing in almost $1 million a year to the county, and that will continue. In addition, funding for the schools, the biggest element of the budget, has dropped to about 23% of the county budget. It used to be around 31% of the county budget. So less money from the county's taxes are being used for the schools, and the schools should be complimented on that. They've done a lot of work to bring in outside money. But we got a lot of challenges in front of us. The population of Bland County has dropped 8.5% in the last 10 years to 6,244. A little bit of positive thing in 2025, it did increase by 27 people, which is at least we're turning the corner there. As everybody knows, inflation's high, impacting the county negatively, and this will not stop. The reassessment resulted in almost a 90% increase in real property values. This is both a positive and a negative. We can be proud that our property is viewed at a higher rate. However, in many cases, this higher rate increases the burden on many of the citizens, especially the elderly. This increase was not evenly spread. Houses increased at a much higher rate than land. In accordance with Virginia law, the tax rate must be adjusted taking into account the new assessed value. This would place the tax rate at 32 cents per $100 of assessed value. Since houses increased at a higher rate, virtually all homeowners in the county would see a tax increase. The current proposal is to increase the tax rate to 42 cents. This amounts to a 31% increase from the 32 cent rate. The proposed rate would generate almost $1.8 million for Bland County annually. Bland County has roughly 2,376 households. So on the average, each household would need to contribute $750 annually. This is in addition to the increase resulting from the homeowner increase. So homeowners would see a larger amount. So what does an additional $1.8 million annually do for Bland County? There are several options. The worst option is that it gets absorbed into the normal operations with no improvement for the county. Another option is that it is utilized to specific measurable projects. Keep in mind that $1.8 million is the annual payment on a $25 million loan, 30-year loan at 6%. So it is a major amount. You could borrow $25 million and make the payment with the increase that's being proposed. So, the correct answer, if the county has a project in mind that it needs the money for, we need to know about the project, we need to agree on the project, and then agree on how we do the funding.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. I will thank Mr. Shepherd too for serving on our school board for 6 years. He was a very good member of it, so I thank you for that. Also, Ms. Shepherd, you talked about the population. 6 years ago, they took the prison farm out of the Wayne County population. That's why we fell 625 people. The prison wasn't in the population. That's why Wayne County's population has failed the last few years.
That's not the only reason.
Okay. Jennifer Hardy.
Everything I wanted to say has been covered, but I do want to say that there needs to be more transparency, and you need to take in consideration that the rural people are not being treated the same as the people who live in town and have additional services that we do not have.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next one I'm having a hard time reading. Bobby or Billy?
Bobby Collins?
Yeah, that's you. What's your name?
Bobby Collins.
Bobby Collins. Okay, my glasses.
That's all right.
Not store glasses. Sometimes they get crooked.
Well, most of the questions I had was answered. The thing I do see from these questions and answers is the fact you increased my tax levy or what the property value 213% before you impose the levy. Pretty smart. So I would suggest each one of you understand that your complaints fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Let's get a petition right to Congress.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
And the same companies don't get their costs in multiple counties.
Phil Butler?
Sorry, I'm getting on the second one tonight. Good news is one meeting you get to speak 3 times. Really quick this evening, I want to piggyback on Mr. Shepherd's 8 years of service. Thank you, sir. His wonderful service side of him. Really quick this evening, I wanted to speak about the tax increase and decrease through the levy measure. In high school government class, they quickly told us basically the government taxes based off of the need of services. And once again, going back to what is somewhat already previously being said, is you pay for what you want through those taxes. But also, we as local government officials have to manage our expenses, right? We have to keep things in line. Ms. Burton's already alluded to certain things that we're not in control of, such as health insurance, building costs, even operational costs in order to stay relevant with today's workforce even. But I will say that we have to apply a fair burden across the landscape of all real estate. We want to make sure that everybody has reached out to the Commissioner of Revenue to file their appeal and waiting for the Board of Equalization to meet, which if you've not done that, you need to say something. But things that we need in our county, obviously we talked about a school facility until the cows come home, and that's going to be needed very shortly, and we can't wait 10 years from now to have those discussions. We need to start now and doing something other, readying a site, getting ready to go in that direction. We're hoping that our school population stays at least steady. The future looks undetermined, and partly because of housing, that we don't have enough housing in the county. I know that there's rumors swirling around about a housing project. What is it? But I'll tell you this, from the school board side of it, we have multiple people that work for us as employees that want to move here. They live outside of the counties. And they have children that they would like to live here. There's nowhere for them to buy currently. There's nowhere for them to rent. So I share with you that those things are important. Other things that we need are places to spend our money locally, to eat, places to shop, things to produce a product that our children can go to work at, and that way that they won't have to move away. I think it's important, like it's already been said, about transparency and us working together, and I hope that kind of relays the same comment that I shared earlier, that we need a greater transparency. Let's talk about what's important for us as a community. What do we really need? I know there's many things, but like I said, the transparency of it all, there's much. But like I said, those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bill Eisenhower.
I want to thank you for listening to my speech tonight. I want to start off by saying I am Bill Eisenhower. I live on Little Creek Highway. I've lived there for 13 years, not a long time like many of you. I'm retired, and my biggest, I don't know where my biggest complaint is on this tax levy. I understand about the tax rate going up, going down relative to where it was. But the tax assessment, I think somehow the county has to take responsibility for who decides what that assessment, how it's done, and who does it, because I think that these people from Roanoke, Bristol, etc., are way out of touch with rural Western Virginia prices. My taxes for my house went up 2 3/4 times. That's a factor of 2 3/4. That's almost 3 times what it was before. My land only went up a factor of 1.3, about 1 1/4. That's pretty acceptable. At the rate of 0.6, like it was, I'm looking at almost 3 times the tax that I paid last year. At 0.32, I'm paying 22% more than I paid last time. At 0.42, I'm looking at 60% more for my house taxes. When I, as a retired person, look at my Social Security COLA, I see 2.8%. U.S. inflation was projected this year at 4.5. U.S. wages are projected to be approximately 3% higher for people, most people. The U.S. stock market is projected to go up about 15%. The stock market is the only thing that is even close to keeping up to this type of increase. I think it's unfair, and I think there are provisions in Virginia Code 558.1-3321 that suggests that it shouldn't go up any more than 1% unless the county can tell us why specifically.
Okay, Robert Hayes again.
All right, good evening to y'all again, and again, I appreciate everybody that came out and spoke their piece. I'll get to the second half of mine. Like I did say, that it would be a great idea if they took their property taxes, paid it, put it into a fund, divided it out evenly. Or you can take their yearly budget, 45%. My property tax comes about 2%. Well, my property taxes are going to be charged to me. Take 2% of the 45 million, 46 million in the budget. Y'all should be feeling the pain just as much as these people. Problem is if we feel the pain, our property is taken away. And again, it's a shame because the enforcer that would collect if you don't pay and take your property from you isn't even here to face it. All these people have come out, they spoke. The decision and the rate has already been made. Before it was made, there was still people coming out and speaking on it. Those voices weren't heard. And like they said, it comes on deaf ears. Well, again, we do vote you in a position. But if no one runs against you, you win it by default. The power lies in y'all. You want to show the voices were heard? Some of the recommendations I put, I think would be a fair adjustment to the people here. But is it going to be done? If it's not done, sure, you can go wait on your vote. But the problem is the way our Constitution was run, and taxation without representation. We, the people, have the power according to the Constitution. If they won't do what you want, you take the power back, sign a piece of paper, bring it forth, and impeach them until your voices are heard. The people have the power. This is not the power. The Constitution, the United States, what our forefathers, our military in the past and everything, all the taxes that are coming down from the state. Your property doesn't just increase, they tax on your home, the insurance on it, everything else is increasing. Your voices ain't heard, take the power back. That's the problem. We're not doing it. The people don't have power no more. The people above us, they have the power and they hold it over you. It needs to be stood on in the county level, the state level, and the government level. The people have the power. And if they don't like it, take your power back, remove them from office, and put someone in that will do everything you ask of them. Problem is, all these lives, all these blood has been shed. I've been overseas, I've seen it in person, our forefathers and everybody else. Government no longer listens to you. People have lost the power. We've lost our Constitution. We're fighting for it. We're fighting for the power, and it's here. It's here at home because we allowed the federal government to take it away. We've allowed all this stuff to happen on a state level, and now it's here.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. A couple things I'd like to mention. It's not only Blaine County, but the reassessments have went tremendously up this year. I went in Giles County, and I got my tax statement from Giles County last week, and their taxes went up 57%. And they're not going to drop their levies that much as we have.
That doesn't make it right.
I know it does not.
Look what Giles County has to offer their citizens compared to what Blaine County has to offer.
Just to say, my taxes are going up just like your guys. I own about 400 acres of land. My taxes are going up just like yours. My assessments went up 130% on my house.
It's also the same company that did it, though.
We're going to talk about it more. We're doing the best we can. A lot of people talk about the high salaries around here. Most of the people who get elected, the state reimburses us for all their salaries. We have no control over them. The state tells us, the state has so many mandates anymore.
What if we cut your salary in half? How would you like that?
It ain't that much, it wouldn't be much cut.
Because, let me tell you something,
That's okay.
Randy.
Hey,
I'm going to say it anyway.
You want to get up for public comment? Come on up, miss.
I will.
Okay, come on up. You have 3 minutes. I know.
There is widows around here, men and women,
Yes.
that has only one income. You raise him, how we gonna pay? Then that little guy's gonna come take our land. Our mom and dad has worked for her all their life. And you think it's fair? It's not fair, Randy. I'm telling you now. What would your mom and dad think of the thing that you've done?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Okay, I guess I'm going to close public comment now, and
You've got one more public hearing on the secondary 6-year plan from VDOT.
okay, we have a public hearing on the 6-year plan for VDOT. Anybody? We have one person here.
Mr. Chairman, you need to close the current public hearing. And then we'll open it.
This one will be
Okay, we'll
available
close public
online.
hearing on tax.
If you're on Facebook, it's available online.
Have a second.
Watch it again. It'll also be
Motion
on
and a second.
YouTube.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor of closing the public hearing on the tax levy, say aye. Aye. Now we're going to open the public hearing on the 6-year plan for VDOT.
I would like to make one comment. We've been here all night talking about money, money, money. I think it would be real nice if the county invested in a microphone so we could hear what's going on back there. You sit behind that podium and you sit down and you sit back like this. We can't even see it or know what's being said. We didn't know one thing about the first beginning part of this hearing, you read off all kinds of stuff with amounts of money. Nobody heard a word.
I try to be loud. They say I'm
That doesn't matter. You need a microphone.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
All right, we'll have a public hearing on
Don't want anybody to hear it.
the 6-year plan for VDOT. We have one speaker for a 6-year plan of VDOT. That would be Ms. Phil Butler.
Sorry, y'all get used to me after a while. Really quick, I wanted to share a little bit of feedback for these guys. We were fortunate enough this past year, I guess it was on the previous plan, to have the road paved in front of our house. And we really appreciate that. It looked really great until the first snow came and scraped half the lines off the road. But one of the things, I walk that road just about every day. And one thing, I tried pulling up this 6-year plan, by the way, and you know it's really inaccessible. Unless it's posted somewhere on the county website that it's hidden, I don't know. But anyways, I'm for sure there's some roads to be repaved. And my concern tonight is the quality of the work, make sure there's consistent asphalt over the complete surface, and I know that's somebody's job somewhere, but making sure we're getting a good product for the money that's being shelled out. It's a lot of money. Y'all know how much it is in order to pave a mile of road top? Does anybody know?
If it's gravel, it costs $25,000 according to the budget.
So it's a lot of money. I think Miss Burton just said $1 million a mile. And so with that, I think the quality, we need to make sure that whoever wins that contract, I know it's under state bid, but also I want to challenge you all not to pave a road and then 6 months later determine, oh, we need to go through and replace all the culverts on that road right after that, like what happened down Wilderness Road several years ago. So a little bit of forethought is really helpful. I know there's some bridge replacement work, so that's my feedback tonight. I hope you'll take it for what it is, but make sure the quality, make sure we're thinking through how this stuff is scheduled so that it benefits us as people that have to drive these roads. Thanks.
Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing now on the 6-year plan. I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, Ms. Burke, are they going to give a presentation or are we going to do anything else?
No.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead, short.
Just give us a reference.
Right, so, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Oh, yeah, good. So I'm James Schwartz with VDOT, and do you have your handouts in front of you? All right, so just to kind of talk about, or just to follow up from our last meeting, to try to explain the plan a little bit better. So if you look at that top column, that's kind of how the plan sits right now. So you have the Trails In project, the first one there, and it will be fully funded if you go all the way over to FY30. So it'll be fully funded in fiscal year 30, which should be July of 2029. And then there was the other section of Trails In, and it says Trails In number 2. And I think my understanding is the board has proposed to maybe move that project to Skydale. So if you look at that, I've kind of struck through that column and went down to the second column where it says proposed plan for FY32. If you'll look at that, that will be, the Trails In project will be there. Again, it will be funded in FY30. And then if you add 1 mile, so we can do 1 mile of Skydusky. If we add that, it would be fully funded in FY32, which is be July of 2031. That will take all the funds that are available on the 6-year plan